Good evening and welcome to episode 21 of Ox Sports Unleashed. Yeah, we've unleashed a lot of sports to you over the previous 20 episodes, and we've got another new sport for you tonight, so please stay tuned for that. It should be an entertaining interview we have concerning badminton later, so please stay with us. Lots to go through as normal. We've got our normal highlights package. We've got Lock, Lyon and Ryde as we normally have, and lots more besides. So please stay with us over the next hour or so for everything sport around our wonderful county of Oxfordshire. One thing again at this point in time, I always say that we're always looking for people to help us out with reporting or camera work or producing the show even. So please do get in contact with us if you're interested in that side of things, on the media side of things. Please do contact us at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. Same email address for any clips from any grassroots sports around the county. Please send them to us. We will use them if we possibly can. We had a great interaction with Abingdon Hockey last week. They're looking to they're having a fantastic season at the moment, and they're looking to film some of their stuff over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully we will have some footage from Abingdon Hockey in later episodes. So as you will notice, the eagle-eyed amongst you, that Locksmith is back in the hot seat. Welcome, Patrick. How you doing?
Yeah, I've been here long enough now. I've got my own intro as well.
You've got your own intro, which is really good, actually. Well done to Wes for that. Like I say, there's lots coming up tonight. I'm looking forward to it all. So any highlights for you, Patrick?
Lock, Lyon and Ryde, surely.
That's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think you'd say that.
Yeah.
I thought you might say that.
I say it every week, don't I?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm going to let you start the ball rolling tonight, Locksmith.
Yeah, we start as we normally always do, actually. We had a break from tradition last week, didn't we, with the rugby, but start with football as always. And in the National League, and Oxford City's obviously had a tough season in the National League, and had a tough game this weekend, welcoming playoff chasing Aldershot Town to the Royal Charging Stadium. Let's have a look at how the game panned out, coming up here with interview with Ross Jenkins following.
Harfield continues to run down the left. The ball gets stuck beneath his feet, and Alfie Potter picks up on the loose ball, and City may be able to play their way out of trouble now. It's been a really good season for Tommy Widrington and his team. Oh, and there's a mix-up in the defence, and there's a chance here, but it's a brilliant save by Tom Watson, the Wigan loanee. As they are now extremely happy. He kept them in the National League last year, and they've gone from strength to strength this year. Now here's O'Keefe, does well to turn his body, and it's a chance here for a goal, and they have scored, and it is that man Laurent Tollage across the 6-yard box, and Laurent Tollage was unmarked inside the 6-yard box, and he was there to tap it home to make it 1-0. And with just over 10 minutes on the clock here at the Royal Charging Stadium, it's Oxford City 0, Aldershot Town 1. The goalkeeper, Jordi van Stappershoff, he finds Tetek, flicks it on with his head, but Jacob Roddy pounces on that loose ball. Looks as though Lewis Coyle is just about to try and keep it in. Goes all the way back to Watson under pressure, and Watson's clearance finds Tollage. Tollage just onto the roof of the net. Looking for an option, finds Josh Ashby. His shot deflects up into the air, headed away by Glover, but not far enough. Birtwistle prods the ball into Flea, into the box, and it's an equaliser! What a goal by Lewis Coyle, who volleys it past Van Stappershoff in emphatic fashion. Two goalkeepers would have no chance at saving that. What a fantastic shot from Lewis Coyle. An absolutely thumping finish to get City back level with their first attack of the game.
North East Darlington have taken the lead against Banbury United here at the Royal Charging Stadium. There's going to be another goal, and it's poor defending, and then Josh Stokes has had the easiest of tasks to roll that into the net. Watson came from his line. Stokes showed his composure and just finished quite smartly past Stokes into the corner, rolled it into the net. And with 8 minutes to go in the first half, Aldershot have regained the lead. Oxford City 1, Aldershot Town 2.
Everyone up though, apart from Burt Whistle. He's stayed back to mark his man. If he wasn't up there, the Aldershot man, I think he'd be forward as well.
Humphrey Ewers out to the right hand side to Lamecca, who plays the ball back to Humphrey Ewers again. This time he chips it in towards Brooklyn Cabangolo, and then it's hit the midriff of Jacob Roddy, who didn't know an awful lot about that, and again harmlessly out of play for an Aldershot goal kick.
Yeah.
Tolaj finds Tetek out to the left hand side to Glover. Glover, poor ball, but as it was a poor ball, but somehow it has found its way to Frost anyway. I don't think he meant that. Frost again on the right side, drills a cross in, and Watson gets a fingertip to it, out to Harfield. Harfield out to the left hand side to Glover again. Glover's going to try and get a better ball in this time, but headed away by Greenslade. A shot, and it hit the post, I think, there from Frost. An angled drive from 14 yards out. It's rebounded off the post. Seconds here at the Royal Charging Stadium. There can't be more than probably 30 seconds, 40 seconds to go. Parker threads the ball through, has a crack, and that's a...
Ross, 2-1 defeat to Aldershot this afternoon. What are your thoughts on that one?
Difficult one, tough one. A lot more competitive than the first fixture at their place. I thought it was quite even at times. They made it difficult. They always do. The fans, well supported, good fan base apart from a couple individuals who threw the flare on. But other than that, yeah, a lot better. We had a good foothold into the game. A sloppy second goal from us. Missed kick from Tom. I think they've won the first contact right to centre half or right wing back. Put it forward, and then he's gone through, and yeah, it is what it is. But I thought we took our goal well. Coyley took his goal well, considering he dislocated his knee straight after that. I think he got a bit too happy, but yeah, a much more solid performance. We wanted to make sure we come out bright and try and play some more of our football, and I thought it was more of an even game than the previous week, so that's a positive. And right at the end, Giles had half a chance to get an equaliser, but yeah, I think the disappointment is probably how the boys are feeling in terms of effort, putting the effort in, and still we're so close, but you just can't get that result. But the boys, they deserve a result soon, because they're running through walls. But it's important we keep going, we keep that morale high, and that starts with Tuesday.
Yeah, so another tough day for Oxford City, although not quite as tough as recent weeks where it was just one goal in it again. But improved performance, but again, fell just short on the day. But, I mean, of course, to say it's against a team that are challenging for the playoffs, so I'm sure we'll be up there towards the end of the season, so not too bad, I guess. Producer Matt just said that they were 7-0 up against Swindon, so I guess maybe that is quite
light
a
at
good
the end of the tunnel there.
Yes,
yeah. Absolutely.
A good result maybe for City there.
Good result.
Yeah, it was a big week also for Banbury in the National League North this week. They went into their game away at Darlington on Saturday on the back of 3 straight defeats. So we've got some highlights from that game coming up now. See how they got on there, followed by an interview with manager Kevin Wilson.
Played forward, Banbury going down the right hand side, but that's a nice little foot in by Darlington. Ben Little picks it up, plays the ball forward early, looking for Cedric Main. Second ball almost fell for Matty Cornish, but Callum Griffiths is on his toes to get the next one. He has the low shot, takes a few bounces along the ground, but first shot on target for Darlington. Jack Harding saves reasonably comfortably. Banbury are going to try and fill the box. Set pieces might be an opportunity for them today. Darlington's defensive line just a couple of yards outside the 18-yard box. Ball comes in. It's won by a Darlington head. Lees then heads away the second one, and it's going to be Madja Uwesu who gets the ball there. He finds Elliot Wheeler. Banbury down the right hand side, probably the first little bit of spell of possession they've had here. Comes to the edge of the box, trying to find some space for the shot is Luca Woodhouse, the centre back. Banbury still on it. Platt clears it to the edge, and then a goal bound shot which is comfortably collected.
His only option at that point was to clear it as high and as far away as he could. Bounces one down off the clubhouse roof, gets down in the
Cornish, 30 yards from goal, spreads it across looking for Callum Griffiths. Nice ball, nice touch. Griffiths chance to cross, puts the cross, goalkeeper gets there, header goal bound just wide. Cedric ball with Main on the halfway line, using his body strength well there, and finds the ball out to Ben Headley. Headley has Rivers in front of him if he wants to use it, he does. Rivers finding space down the left-hand side. Going to have a run at his man. Trying to find the cross, little step over, gets the cross, good cross. Nelson header,
saved.
comes back out on the line. It's gone in from close range. I think it's Matty Cornish, I can't be sure. Right. Darlington have been knocking on the door, and they've just gone right through it. Darlington 1, Banbury 0.
Great ball in, first save from Harding was great, but Matty Cornish following up to give the Quakers a lead that there is no question they deserve. Darlington 1, Banbury 0.
We are back underway. Darlington encouraged on as the kick-off occurs, and it's Harley Giles who's trying to get Banbury back forward there. Played the ball down the right-hand side. He is going to find Aidan Elliott-Wheeler, who's going to get past Ben Headley, cross into the box. Oh, it's all the way to the far corner. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's an absolute fluke. Aidan Elliott-Wheeler puts the cross. I don't think for a minute he's going for the goal there, but it's gone over the top of Matty Young. Not sure what he can do about it, really. We'll have to have another look, but it's sailed into the back, and Banbury
17 seconds.
Nowhere near looking like scoring all day, and they've got a break with a fluke.
Absolutely. Knowing they've got the games in hand, but
ball played at the feet of Matty Cornish, who's found some space. Plays it across, looking for Cam Salkeld. Will Salkeld get there ahead of the goalkeeper? Oh, he does. That's a penalty. Oh, yes, no doubt about it. Goalkeeper Jack Harding's made a complete mess of that. Salkeld has got there before him. He's running towards the corner flag, going nowhere, but he definitely got the touch past the goalkeeper, and then Harding. Yeah, this has gone in and up faster than I can tell you on Darlow Fans Radio. Hatfield steps up. Save comes back out all the way across.
Rebounds in
on the second attempt off number 4, Simeon May. I think, is it Andrew Nelson who's put it in? I can't tell.
Can't see from here. I think it is.
I'm not sure whether it was going in or not. It took a touch on the goal line. We'll have to. Cam Salkeld had covered in for him there. Gets in the way of a forward pass, but Banbury pick it up, and again they find Elliott Wheeler. Played back to Harley Giles. Darlington not pressing that high at this stage in the game. They'd have a chance for the chip there. That was an ambitious attempt, fashionable these days. Corner comes in, decent delivery, doesn't get past the first man though, and Griffiths wins it. Now Cedric Main's got one-on-one there. He's got Salkeld bursting alongside the middle. Cedric Main's just going to try and play it in, and the flag stays down. Salkeld into the box, clean through. Can he finish it?
He can!
Salkeld puts the game to bed. Timed his run to perfection. Main found him with the pass. Cam Salkeld makes no mistake. 3 points incoming.
I thought for a second on his first touch he'd given himself too much to do, but his second touch gets it under control.
Kevin, your thoughts on today's game?
Fuming. Absolutely fuming. First half performance was not good enough. It looked like we were still on the bus, and we had 45 minutes of not competing for me.
And this was a game you were always going to have to compete in, wasn't it?
It's not changed, has it?
No.
You know, the game's about competing, attitude and application before you get to ability. But you know, when you go in and have to reel the riot act at half time, and that's one of the things I didn't really want to do, but I had to. You know, I went in, we got an early goal, we got self a foot in it. We looked like the more dominant side, I felt, in the second half at the beginning, and then we give a silly penalty away.
There we go. Kevin Wilson reflecting on their loss against Darlington at the weekend, 3-1. We will have their midweek game. Could they bounce back with a win and get out of that relegation zone? Stick with us and you'll find out. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Patrick Locksmith Lock has left the hot seat, and I've been joined by ex-England junior badminton player James Lauder. Thanks, James, for coming on to the programme tonight and sharing your wisdom on badminton.
No problem at all.
Yeah, good to see you. The first question really is where Oxfordshire badminton is at the moment, and what the league structure's like, and so on and so forth.
Oxfordshire badminton is definitely a minor county. So from a badminton's perspective, when I was a junior 15 years ago, it was the likes of Yorkshire were very strong. Buckinghamshire have always been good. The National Badminton Centre is in Milton Keynes, so obviously there's some players that kind of travel over from Oxfordshire to Buckinghamshire to play. So Oxfordshire Badminton has healthy numbers. There's a good junior setup, but as all things, it takes time for the juniors to come through. So I play for a club called Windrush Badminton Club, which is based in Witney. Great club, Wednesday night club nights. They have a good Saturday junior section that is very welcome. You know, if there's people that are parents that are out there that want their children to start up and playing, Windrush is a great club based in Witney, but there are lots of clubs that need more players. Definitely, it's one of those sports that people will, you know, the numbers look really good on the paper. In the UK, I think badminton at a grassroots level is very strong, but actually then when you go up the ladder and you step into playing county level, the numbers dwindle. When people step into university, they stop playing. And if you compare myself as an ex-England badminton player, I won three junior national titles, one at under 15, two at under 17. But for me, I chose to go to university over turning full-time professional. I did turn full-time professional after university, but that was always then very hard for me to ever make Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, and so on. Whereas in other countries, or you know, like Asia, for example, it's much more like football. The number 100 in China is probably as good as the number 10 in England, so if not more. That's interesting. I mean, is that a decision you regret, or was that a good decision to go to uni rather? It was the best decision I ever made, because now I'm married with a 1-year-old, and if I hadn't have done that, then I'd never have met Katie. So, of course, I mean, I'd love to have been better, but you know, I could have gone full time and got an injury, and then you're kind of like, well, what do I do now? Do I go into coaching? And I'm very fortunate that I went to a good school. Parents put me through a good school up in Shropshire. I still trained hard at university and still turned full time. I played the European Tour for 2 seasons, but then I had a degree under my belt that I could then jump on a grad scheme, which brought me down to Oxfordshire back in 2016, 2017, when I then joined Oxford Downs and played cricket. And I still played badminton to a decent level then, but actually it then came full circle because I now still work in the sports industry. So I work for Babolat and account manage the sort of southern retailers for badminton, paddle and tennis. That's interesting. Again, I mean, you said that Windrush. Are there other clubs around Oxfordshire that you know, people, you know, watching this programme will, you know, if they're living slightly south of the region, they could go to? Are there other places? Absolutely. So another good club is Abingdon Badminton Club. They play at St Helens and St Catherine's, and they also play matches at Larkmead School, so just across the road. Windrush in Witney play at the Henry Box. There is also another club in Witney, so again, if it's a different night that you can't make a Wednesday, for example, but Windrush is the strongest club, has more teams, and also has that good junior section. You've got Feathers, which is based in Banbury, again a strong club. More of that link with Buckinghamshire as well, so that's quite good. People who are just on the borders, which is difficult for the sport. If you live on a borderline, it is quite hard, especially if you're up in the West Midlands or East Midlands, and it's a long way to travel to a performance centre, a county hub. The one other thing in Oxfordshire in the junior setup, so if there's parents that are listening and they want their son or daughter to play, National Badminton is a national-based badminton coaching setup, but Julie is the founder, and she is from Oxfordshire. So the Oxfordshire setup itself is very good. There is a number of places that you can play in Witney, Oxford, Abingdon, Didcot, Banbury, and I think they do like an intro to badminton, which is 4 sessions for £10. So for juniors, it's you don't get anything for £2.50 these days. No, absolutely. So, no, I'm quite impressed with that. So it's quite healthy then, really, around Oxfordshire for badminton, and where you can go to go and play. Yeah, I think for me, I've probably, I'm definitely a positive Percy, but I think because I've come from an elite background, I look at badminton as like a global sport, and look at our top players who are fantastic, but they're not competing with the top Asian players. Yeah. Whereas actually recreationally and the grassroots level, it is good. But it's just then, do those kids that play badminton also play football, also play rugby, cricket, where there's a lot more TV time, there's a lot more things that are, money that's pumped into those sports than there are into not so much tennis, because tennis is good, but let's say racket sports, squash is dwindling, racquetball very much dwindling, paddle is up and coming. Paddle is a great sport, but again limited in the UK on the weather and on facilities. So badminton is good, but we just miss that club system. We play a lot in school sports centres, as I said to you earlier, St Helens and St Catherine's, Henry Box School. They're not really enjoyable places to then maybe have a drink afterwards, or
So you sort of alluded to it there a little bit on the sort of setup for England. Where are we in England badminton at the moment? Is it in a good place? Is it in robust system they've got in place? Yeah,
I mean Milton Keynes is a good hub. It's got a good centre. Table Tennis England are also based there. There's a new CEO who is doing really good things. She is active and she's approachable, which is key. I think from a performance perspective, you've got a couple of good mixed players. There's a good young pair of men's doubles players, but actually, the Olympics is in this year in Paris, and actually it's a shame because GB, I'm not sure if they're going to qualify for men's singles, or maybe we have one player playing women's singles, whereas that's a shame really. You'd expect us to have at least a men's singles, a women's singles, ladies doubles, men's doubles and mixed quite comfortably, but those players that do go to the Olympics, it will be very hard for any of the singles players to get through more than a couple of rounds, and I hope they prove me wrong, because I'll be supporting them, but it's just so strong in other countries where they've got a better club system. They pay players to play club matches on weekends, whereas our county system is a bit more of a I could still play at quite a high level county system, and I haven't been to a racket for 6 to 9 months, and it shouldn't really be like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally understand. So that's interesting. From that, I suppose, have you ever thought going into coaching on the badminton front, or do you do some coaching?
I don't anymore. Obviously, I've got a little girl, so she takes up a lot of time, which is I absolutely love it. My wife is a private school teacher, so as you know, so Saturday I spend my day with my little one, and Katie works, and at that young age it's bedtime and bath time at that kind of time. Yeah. But I did do coaching. I coached when I was at university. I coached after. I actually coached for national badminton as well for a year or two. But when you're doing a full-time job, it's then hard to go out and do 2 hours or 3 hours in the evening. And I enjoyed it, especially with the younger ones. Even the ones that never really wanted to become a professional badminton player. I probably actually enjoyed that more in my latter years of coaching. They just wanted to pick up a racket and play and have some fun. I guess for me, the coaching probably put a bit of a dampener on my playing, because I was choosing at university to coach some junior England girls that were on the programme when I should have been training myself. But like you said, it's always hard with those kind of sports when you're a player, because you're sacrificing your own strength and conditioning or flexibility session or whatever it might be, because you're earning money. But you need that money to then go play. Yeah. So I enjoyed my coaching. I've done a lot, but now with full-time job, it's just totally. I'd love to do a bit more. But same here, with Oxford Downs, I'd love to try and do a little bit of the cricket coaching because I enjoy it. But it's just time.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you might consider for the future.
Yeah, maybe.
When the family's growing up and stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I always love it. We had young Ben Cox on last week from Motorsport, and he brought in his helmet and some of the trophies he'd won, which was really interesting. You brought some stuff in, and I am quite perplexed by this. Can you just take us through this a little bit? Because this is quite interesting.
Of course I can. I didn't want to bring in any medals because my mum's probably got them somewhere at home, and they can stay there. Obviously, like I said, I thought that this might be a bit more niche rather than, like you said, bringing in awards or whatever. So I obviously work for Babolat, French brand. You can see here, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but the tread here, which is this is an indoor court shoe, so this could be used for squash or racquetball, but it's predominantly badminton. Being a French company, Michelin is a partner, so this is just it's a good sales sample for me to go out and show customers. But actually, it's quite interesting as a sports
absolutely.
fanatic. So you can see how the tread fits onto a midsole, which is a soft EVA, but actually for indoor sports you want it to be quite soft on the heel, where you kind of put your foot down, and then as you kind of go heel to toe, it's a lot harder up here, so you can push off. So in badminton, obviously, it's all about dexterity in the moving off the court quickly, but also plyometrics. So plyometrics is so key because it is the fastest racket sport in the world. So the smash, I know it's nothing to do with footwear, but the smash is 565 kilometers per hour, which is about 350 miles per hour.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And when you think about that compared to like a tennis serve, Andy Roddick back in the day, there's plenty of current players now, but I always remember Andy Roddick, he was my favourite player, 150 odd mile an hour tennis serve that would hit the line judge at the back, and you think, oh my goodness, it's the fastest thing ever. Whereas when you see a shuttle being hit on the floor, it stops quite quickly. That's 200 miles an hour quicker than that tennis ball. So, again, compared to cricket, when you see someone bowling really fast, Shoaib Akhtar, 100 mile an hour, you're thinking, I couldn't face that anywhere near. But then shuttle, it's kind of seems you've got this flying at you. 16 goose feathers.
I was going to say, is goose feathers?
Goose feather.
That's the best one, isn't it?
Yeah, goose feather's the best one. This is a hybrid shuttle, so you can see here that the nest here is plastic, whereas most of them would be all in one piece. But this is just a more durable shuttle that we provide. But goose feather from the left wing, so it flies, and if it's from the other wing, it actually would fly funky.
Right, okay.
So a little novelty. But yeah, that's how the shoe works anyway. So you've got your tread, your midsole. You have different levels of EVA foam, and then you've got your upper, which is super light. As you can feel, weighs nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that's what it's got to be. That's a pure performance shoe. So you want it to weigh as little as possible, but still be stable. And you've got a little bit of protection here, because in badminton you slide your foot a lot. So then obviously that can wear down quite easily on the court, especially if you're playing on a dusty sports hall in Oxfordshire.
Very, very, very interesting, that, James. Thank you for that.
No problem.
So we discussed the shuttle.
Yep.
Rackets, just take us through a little
quickly.
bit of racket.
There's just a couple of rackets here. I mean, to the naked eye, you're not going to see much difference. This is £160 and this is £60.
So, right, okay.
There's other brands out there that
Don't trust me with the 160 one.
Yeah,
okay.
It's fine. There's other brands out there that are more expensive. I won't name them because they are the enemy. But I mean, that's the kind of range you're looking at in the UK market. You can get as low as 20, 30 quid. For a 30 to 40 pound for a graphite frame. Below that, you're looking at like an aluminium. You see them in the garden. They've got two pieces, and they're absolutely rubbish.
So what is this made of?
Graphite, carbon graphite.
Right.
They both are, but obviously you've got more technology in this. Actually, if you were to look closer, this is a lot thinner here. Yeah. So then the stiffness in the shaft here is high quality of graphite. So actually, something like this and X-Fil Fury, X-Fil Rise, they're pretty similar in weight, but this is very stiff. So hard to play with if you're a novice player. You want a stiffer racket, a more head-heavy racket if you want to create power. And then the opposite, you want a flexible racket and something that's quite lightweight if you want quickness and manoeuvrability.
I can actually feel that's quite flexible, and that is quite.
Yeah, that is a really it is a really stiff racket. That would be a pure performance player's frame. So
very, very interesting. I love all that. I'm learning so much about other sports, which is really great. I say this every week, but it's true. Just last thing for me, James, is normal game. What's a set? How does the game just transpire, if you like?
What, in terms of scoring and everything?
Yeah, scoring.
So it's the same for doubles and singles, which is quite simple. The obvious way is best of 3 to 21, so best of 3 games. Obviously, there's different ways of calling it: a set, a match, a game. But yeah, you'll play your first set will be to 21 points. If I beat you 21-10. And then in the second game, you beat me 21-10. We have that third and final deciding game. Win by 2 clear points, get to 29 all. It's next point wins 30-29. That's pretty much the basics of the scoring side of it. You have a doubles court and a singles court, so the same court, but the easiest way to kind of do it is that singles is skinny, so you don't play in the outside tram lines. Doubles is, let's say, short and fat because it's out in the back when you serve. Otherwise, it's a full court.
And how high is the net?
Good question. 5'4" or something like that.
5'4".
Yeah, it's about Right here on me. Or 6 foot something.
So, yeah. I'm not going to say anything. I have been known to take the mickey out of a certain person sat next to me, so I won't live on YouTube.
Luckily, I've got a tall upper body when I sit down, but my legs are now dangling away. So
I say nothing. James, look, that's been really good, really insightful into badminton. And obviously, anybody who wants to get involved, get along to Windrush, and they'd be pleased to see you. It'll be a great place to go. So thanks for coming in, James.
No problem.
Good luck for the cricket season, obviously, because we're looking forward to
the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm biased, but I would say that. But yeah, thanks for joining us. It was great insight into that. Thanks to James Lauder there. We move on, as we do on this programme quite quickly, to our normal roundup of last week's fixtures, a few interviews and a few highlights with our resident solicitors Lock, Lyon and Ryde, or as I like to call them, Kermit, Fozzie and Gonzo. They're there tonight. Let's have a little look at their roundup from last week.
Hello, and Patrick Lock joins us from the main studio. Hi, Patrick.
Hello. Quick run from over there, wasn't it? So a bit out of breath.
You are indeed right. We're also joined by Paul Lyon. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Hi, Colin. I'm not so bad, thanks.
And I'm Colin Bright. So not much positive news for local footy fans this week, with Oxford United losing 2-1 away to Portsmouth, Oxford City losing by the same margin at home to Aldershot Town. Banbury United having not much to show for their long trip to Darlington, where they lost 3-1. Add to that 3 local games called off because of waterlogged pitches. Tame United's game against Bedford Town, Kidlington's against Barton Rovers, and Northleys against Stotfold. So, Paul, yet more games postponed, so an even bigger end of the season fixture pile-up.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Whether it's adult football or kids football in the county, the problem with rain is that it takes a while for the pitches to sort themselves out, doesn't it? You know, when we have snow or we have ice, it defrosts and everything's back to normal again. But when it's been raining, it takes a long time, and the water table is really high at the moment, and clubs are finding that games are being called off almost every week, and there's going to be some interesting ends of seasons, like 3 or 4 games in a week for some teams if it carries on.
Now, Paul, Oxford City have been in the transfer market this week. A certain Chris Williams has made the move from Oxford United to Oxford City. Tell us how that came about and what Chris will be doing for you.
Yeah, so we've been looking for a general manager for a while now. We first advertised it probably this time last year, but we didn't select anybody at that time because of the impending promotion, and we didn't really know how that would affect the club moving forwards. But sort of halfway through the season, we said, yeah, we need to find somebody to come and run the day-to-day operation, if you like. I'm only involved as the club secretary now. Justin's running his business with Ignite Sport, and we need somebody there to be the man in charge on the day. And because it's a really busy site. Anyone who's been to Oxford City during the daytime, there's always hundreds of people there, and in the evening. And we needed somebody who's got experience in sport and football and management of facilities. So we put an advert out before Christmas, and one of the guys on the shortlist was a certain Chris Williams. And we know Chris really well from Oxford United, and he's done a brilliant job over the years at Oxford United. So it's a brilliant signing for us as a club. And looking at the social media today, I haven't seen anybody have a bad word to say about Chris. So we're looking forward to working with him.
Some good news for City then. So, Patrick, can you take us to the rest of the weekend's results, the tables, and also what local footy fans, weather permitting, have got to look forward to, and try and find some good news somewhere in steps 4, 5, and 6, Patrick, to lift our spirits a little bit. Patrick Lock.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick one this week, I think. It's fairly sparse pickings. Once again, thanks to the weather. And like I say, of those pickings, it wasn't a particularly good weekend either. So obviously you already heard about the defeats for United City and Banbury. There was only one game in the Southern League. That saw AFC Tottenham beat Didcot 1-0 at the Luke Meadow Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Didcot did themselves proud, though, in the second half, and here's what Jamie Heapy said at full time. Certainly proud of his players after that game.
We're coming off the pitch, obviously it's a 1-0 defeat, but after that second half, I mean, I feel what an effort from the boys.
Yeah, that's what I said to them there, but they're gutted, they're disappointed. We didn't start right first half, we were off it a little bit. We didn't win first, second balls, we just looked a bit off it. they're good. They're good. They're a good team. You know, they've got some good players. Moved us around nicely, and the conditions suited us. And we were just first half, and then sending off, and then a goal, and he's just like, oh God, here you go. But full credit to them. Second half, we're disappointed not to get a point.
Yeah.
We're disappointed not to get a point because the keeper's pulled off the save there in injury time. One-handed save, and we looked more of a threat with 10 men than we did with 11.
Yeah.
So, and look, got to mention Leo, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, fair play to the lad. You know, I look round, Josh can play in goal, Josh Grant, but he's got a dodgy shoulder, so obviously didn't want to put him in there. And Leo stepped up, said, I can go in goal, Gaffer. I'll play. I played there as a kid. He raised his hand up, and that was it. I chucked him on, and kicking. Well. You know,
Considering it's his
didn't
debut.
have, he had a couple of bits to do, didn't he? But they were great second half. But they were disappointing in there because the effort they put in and the work rate. It's hard with 10 men. It's hard to play against with 10 men, as we know. But we got them in, regrouped at half time, and tactically made them aware of what we wanted from them, and they delivered that. And it was just unlucky we didn't get a point. But
so all 3 games in the Southern League Division 1 Central were called off for the weather, but only 1 game survived at set 5 as Wallingford and Cromarsh scored a big 4-2 win away at Broadfield United on their 3G pitch. So I have found some good news for you, Colin. Wallingford ran into a 4-0 lead, actually, heading into second half. Andy Knocker put them ahead after 8 minutes before Bradley Walton grabbed a second. Aidan Higgs grabbed a third just before half-time, actually, and he grabbed his second after the break to put them into unassailable 4-0 leads. Broadfield did score twice in the final 5 minutes, but by that point it was far too little too late. Elsewhere, Didcot Town Development booked a place in the Bateman Sports Chairman Challenge Cup semi-final with a 2-0 win over Bishop's Cleeve. While in the President's Cup, Easington Sports Development beat FC Beaconsfield 4-0 to get into the semi-final of that competition as well. Headington Amateurs were the biggest winners in the county on Saturday with a 6-2 win over Highworth Town Reserves in the Hellenic Division 2 Central. There were goals for Dan Fraser, Billy Gillett, and Ben Green, Josh Fox both grabbed braces to complete a convincing scoreline for the Amateurs there. And then finally on Sunday, no game for Oxford United women again, but Oxford City women booked their place in the Oxfordshire Women's Cup final with a penalty shootout win against Oxford University. It finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. Emily Harris scored the City goal. Summer Major would grab the winning penalty in a 6-5 win, which means it's an Oxford derby in the final of that competition as City will meet United in the Women's Cup final. And I'm sure we'll find out soon enough when that will be played, and I'm sure that will be a good turnout for that day. So we'll have a quick look and see how the tables looked after Saturday's action. Oxford United dropped out of the playoff spots after their defeat at Portsmouth and sits 7th currently in League One. Oxford City still bottom of the National League. Banbury United just in the relegation spots in the National League North. They're 21st after 4 successive defeats in that division. Didcot Town still bottom of the Southern League Premier South. Well, Southern League Central hasn't really changed really after a complete washout with Northleigh 4th, Kidlington 17th and Tame 18th in that division. So coming up on Saturday, Oxford United, they host Cheltenham Town at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford City have a fairly long trip, not quite as long as a couple of weeks ago. They head up to Manchester area to face Rochdale. Banbury United, they're at home. They host Southport in the National League North. They've got Town without a fixture actually this weekend, which probably make a lot of clubs jealous with the fixture backlogs coming up. Northleigh host Kempton Rovers, Kidlington host Ware, and Tame travel to AFC Dunstable. And I'm sure we'll say weather permitting for all of those fixtures above. Finally, on Sunday, Oxford United women are back in action after a couple of weeks off. They have a very hard challenge actually away at #United in the Women's National League South. While Oxford City women are back in league action, they host Bournemouth Sports in the Southern Region Women's Football League. Now, Colin, you're going to take us over through the Tuesday night results, aren't you? Because I need to go back to the studio, I think, quickly, don't I? So
you do.
I'll see you next week.
See you next week. We'll let you disappear as I pick up on that on Tuesday's results. Okay, Paul. back to you, and I just say that Oxford City ladies versus Oxford United ladies meeting in the final of the Oxfordshire Cup. That's great news for ladies football, isn't it? And but it won't be down at the Royal Charging Stadium, will it? It's got to go to someone neutral, isn't it? Weather permitting.
Yeah. The Oxfordshire FA have put the county cups out to other venues today. I think it's going to be tame, and it's great fixture though. Oxford v Oxford is going to be good. There'll be a great crowd there. Obviously, United are going to be favourites, being the professional team. But our girls will be up for it, and we'll give it a good go. But it's great that we've got two good ladies teams in Oxford, and both getting to the final. It's like Man City, Man United, isn't it? That sort of feel to it. You've got the two biggest teams all both playing each other, and it's very rare because they normally knock each other out earlier on. And we'll see what happens, but hopefully we'll put up a good performance. Maybe United will leave some of their superstars at home that day.
Yeah, okay. Well, we did interview Ellie Noble a while back, so she's on loan from Crystal Palace. So they have got a few superstars amongst the United, but I'm sure Oxford City ladies will rise to the occasion. Right, thank you so much to Patrick Lock and Paul Lyon. I'm Colin Ryde. Handing back to the main studio, where Patrick and Darryl will bring you the rest of this week's Ox Sports Unleashed.
Thanks there to Colin, Ryde and Paul Lyon. And you made it then?
Yeah. Do you reckon I got away with that or not?
Did you change your top as well?
I did actually.
Oh, yeah. Well done. You did very well.
Yeah.
Dress rehearsal. Very good.
Do you
Thanks.
reckon I went off in the right way and came back on the right way or not? Do you reckon?
I don't know, actually. Did stage exit left or something? I don't know. Thanks to Kermit, Fozzie and Gonzo there. Make up your mind who's who. Our firm of solicitors, Lock, Ryde and Ryde, we thank them again for their weekly roundup, which is always good. So that sort of takes us on to our next segment, which is normally ice hockey at this moment in time, and it's going to be the same this week. Oxford City Stars were home to Streatham Royals at the weekend on Sunday, and we've got the highlights for you, and let's see if they could bounce back from a loss from the previous week. Oh, this is the ladies. Woods has done it again. Oxford City Stars, Oxford Midnight Stars, of course. They had a game at the weekend. We showed you the highlights there. We can show you their league position, though. Now they're sitting in 7th place, I believe, in the Women's National Ice Hockey League South. Yes, let's hope that they can get back to winning ways also. What will find is that Woodsy is going to an ice hockey match this Sunday. Oxford City Stars are definitely playing Streatham Royals on Sunday. I'm looking forward to getting on the ice and down with some of the players and meeting one or two players. So that will be good fun for me on Sunday. I'm taking the wife as well, actually, so it should be a good evening out. I've been told by one of our producers, Colin, to wrap up warm because it is freezing there on a Sunday evening. There is a nice little profile of one of the players, which we'll show you now. I don't know if it's going to come up on the screen in front of me, whether I can actually talk through it or not. No, I can't. It's definitely not coming up on the screen in front of me, but you'll see there another profile from one of our Oxford City Stars. So that's good. So moving on from ice hockey, I probably should do.
45 minutes about a blue player.
I've done well. I've done well, or not, as the case may be. And we showcased American football previously, and we haven't done much for Oxford Saints just in the past few weeks. So here's another profile from one of their players, but with information also showing the training times for both the juniors and the seniors. You'll see that on your screens now. So if you are looking to be the next budding American footballer, get down to Tilsley Park on those dates and times, and you'll be more than welcome. And exciting times ahead, because they've not far away from their first friendly, Oxford Saints, and we will be keeping in contact with them to see how they do. So good luck to Oxford Saints as that season is fast approaching. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the programme, Abingdon Hockey got in contact with us last week, like what we're doing, want to get involved. So we're hoping to get some footage from their next few games, hopefully, certainly in the next couple of weeks or so, because they're having a cracking season. Their results should now be on the screen in front of you. I'm just looking at my producer and he's giving me the thumbs up. So I can't see the results, so I can't take you through them, but you'll see them on your screens there, no problems. No technical problems tonight at all. I think it's all gone very, very smoothly, Locksmith. Yeah, I think we'll move swiftly on.
Yeah, so we'll move back to football briefly, and we've already heard about the midweek results from Colin a bit earlier, but we have got the goals from Banbury's game at home to Russell Olympic on Tuesday night. So hopefully the producer Matt will show those now. So it's another tough... we haven't got them now, apparently. So we'll try and get those.
We can show that this is live, doesn't
yes.
it? We always have a bit of a glitch, and we're human, and I always say it every week. This is why we're putting out a cry for reporters and hosts. Probably we need new hosts as a thing. Oh, we do have
the goals now. We do have to know now. We do show it's live, don't we? Wow. So here are the goals, and so Russell Olympic did open the scoring early on through Rowan Mayer. Here we go. It's a bit of a bouncing ball in the box, and there's a good finish actually into the far corner there. Wheels away in celebration there, and it was just before the break actually that Banbury got level. See there, a bit of a mistake at the back, wasn't there? And wiped out there, and it's a penalty right on the stroke of half time. Ken Charles stepped up here and made no mistake, I think.
Nice little shimmy there.
I prepared that and then he shimmied and took ages overtaking it, so I gave that away a little bit. But second half, and a bit of a nasty challenge that, wasn't it? But it got up, and good save there from Jack Harding. And same player got fouled by the same player there as well. So another penalty there to Russell. Owen Osenzi stepped up, and a good hand from Jack Harding there, but couldn't quite keep that out. So Russell Olympic did go on to win 2-1 there, and it was actually a big result for them there, really, because it was two teams low down, and obviously Russell getting the 3 points there, which, as we saw the league tables a minute ago, did see Banbury still in the bottom four. So big games coming up for a lot of teams in the counties coming up, trying to save their league status for next year. So moving on, and our regular feature, Goal of the Week.
Before
we reveal this week's Goal of the Week, I have to mention actually that last week's Goal of the Week was Sam Bard, that stunning strike at Salisbury for Didcot, got named Southern League Goal of the Week as well. So
unbelievable.
Obviously watching us, aren't they?
They
so
definitely
to get their ideas, and it's a stunning goal. So this week's Goal of the Week, we've actually already seen. It comes from Oxford City's game at home to Aldershot Town, and Lewis Coyle's absolute stunner. So we've got the footage of it here, and bouncing ball and headed away not very well, and you end up seeing in a minute an acrobatic ball into the box from Reece Fleet, and there was Lewis Coyle arriving from the edge of the box, an absolutely thunderous volley, which just left the keeper completely rooted. I don't think he'd seen it really before it had gone past him, but absolute stunning strike really. There he comes, miles away, wasn't he? And probably couldn't hit the ball much better, could he? So
excellent strike.
Stunning goal really for City in there. Obviously couldn't quite see City to a point, but another stunning goal for the what's going to be a really tough goal of the season competition, isn't it, coming up?
Probably not as quick as the shuttlecock that goes in badminton, we found out tonight.
Maybe we should have a challenge, shouldn't it? See which one goes faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll just wrap up the football action now, and we've got all of the results from Saturday and Tuesday from the football, and also the weekend rugby results coming up now.
There's the results service from last weekend. Sad news this week. I was just pottering around at home and something popped up on my WhatsApp and Facebook and heard the sad loss of a certain Max Eason, Mr. Horsepath. Amazing character. Known Max for a number of years. He's done so much for cricket in our county, you know, not only on a playing perspective, but also in an administrative one. He's done every possible job you could imagine at the club, and helped me when I was chairman of the coaching association when I needed a venue for whether it was a first aid course or a safeguarding course. Max would always pop up and be there, and he'd run the bar, and he always had a smile on his face, always had a story to tell. It is a really sad day for Oxfordshire cricket, and Horsepath, obviously with the sad loss of Tommy Pritchard not that long ago as well, big losses to Horsepath cricket for sure. He did win an award through being Coach of the Year back in 2018, where he accepted the award from Graham Thorpe, ex-England international and coach, for his services, you know, that he'd given. Once he finished playing, he gave back on the coaching front, bringing youth through the ranks of Horsepath, and you know, making them the force that they are today. So, you know, our heartfelt condolences go out to all the family, Robbie, Will in particular, because I know them very well, and everybody at Horsepath and all, obviously family and friends. The one thing I do want to sort of finish on with Max, he always stood up at the feast. This was a game that Horsepath play against an invited 11 across the county at the end of the season, normally on a Monday, and it's a fantastic day, it really is. But the food is fantastic, and it is a feast, it really is, but he'd always stand up, he would always have something funny to say and people to take the mickey out of. So, he was Mr. Horsepath through and through, and he will be severely missed. So, rest in peace, Max Eason. You are a legend in my book, I have to say. So, that is the sad story of the passing of Max Eason last weekend. Takes us to the next bit, where our COVID reporter, a bit stuck in his bed. I think he managed to get up and record this for us, doing an F1 Formula One Championship roundup of all the Oxfordshire motorsport companies and how they actually did at the weekend at the Bahrain Grand Prix. So over to you, Wes.
Formula One got back underway last weekend with Bahrain playing host to the opening round of the 2024 season. It was a bit of a quiet weekend for our Oxfordshire teams, with Kevin Manison's 12th place the best of the 6 cars. Instant-based Alpine Formula Renault started the weekend extremely poorly. Frenchmen Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly started from the back after qualifying 19th and 20th respectively, whilst Nico Hülkenberg put his Haas into the top 10. However, the joy was short-lived for the German after contact with Lance Stroll's Aston Martin on the opening lap of the race saw both drivers slip to the back of the pack. Hülkenberg forced to pit for new tyres and a new front wing. Wantage-based Williams had a fairly unsettled race, with Alex Albon finishing in 15th, 2 places down from his starting spot. But an issue with Logan Sargent's steering wheel saw him pull off the track at turn 4 before rejoining the race 1 lap down. The American driver eventually finished at the back of the field behind Sauber's Valtteri Bottas. Issues for both Bottas and Sargent meant that the 2 Alpines snuck into 17th and 18th, but the French marque will be hoping to see some improvement this weekend in Saudi Arabia, after news from Enstone reported massive organisational changes across 6 technical teams, with the outfit citing a period of disappointing results over the last 2 seasons. Racing gets underway again on Saturday in Saudi Arabia, where last year both Alpines and Kevin Magnussen's Haas finished inside the points. But can anyone hold a candle to Max Verstappen and Red Bull? We will have to wait and see. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks there to Wes Alstato for Formula One. Get well soon, Wes. We hope COVID relents and you get back to full fitness for fairly soon.
At least he's got another Formula One race to look forward to this weekend to get him through it.
He has, hasn't he? So he'll enjoy that, I'm sure. Some really good news to finish the show today. This is quite a proud moment for Burford School and Oxfordshire Cricket. A certain young lady, Abby Norgrove, has been selected for England under-19s on the Sri Lankan tour. I'm not sure when that actually starts, if I'm honest, but what a great accomplishment. She's gone from being an Oxfordshire girl through the Oxfordshire cricket pathway onto the Southern Vipers and doing well. I think about 5 weeks ago we showed you with her training at the Vipers that Wes had kindly given us down at the I say the Aegeus Bowl. It's not the Aegeus Bowl anymore, is it? But she's done really well to get in there. Really proud of Abby's achievements. We wish her very best of luck when she goes on that tour to Sri Lanka. We are hoping to get an interview with Abby in the very near future. Fingers crossed. We'd love to get her in and talk all things cricket and her journey into that England under-19 side. So good luck, Abby. Well, that just about wraps it up for this week. Patrick, highlights for you. What's your thoughts?
Oh, it was a good show, wasn't it? Interview was brilliant, wasn't it, on badminton? And Yeah, Lock, Line and Ryde.
And Lock, Line, absolutely, 100%. Backing you there. So that was Ox Sports Unleashed for this week. The week that Johnny Bairstow received his 100th Test match cap. Well done, Johnny. Good luck in the Test match. Haven't started too well today. Let's hope the next couple of days we can fight back in good old Bazball tradition.
Jimmy Anderson 700 wickets.
Yeah, we'd like to see that, wouldn't we? We really would like to see Jimmy Anderson get to that 700th. So, well done to Johnny. I mean, it's a really great achievement. So, that was Ox Sports Unleashed. Please join us again next Thursday at 8 o'clock, where we'll unleash some more Ox Sports. It's good night from me.
Good night.